Welcome to Sports with Hunzi. I am your host, Hunzi. Please make sure to like and subscribe so that maybe one day I can do this for a living. If you do not leave a 5-star review, I am inclined to believe that you are indeed a hater. On to the first segment of today's show. I guess it's the only segment of today's show, but I want to talk about my top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL. We'll start from 15 and work our way down. 15, Brock Purdy. 14, Jordan Love. 13, Dak. 12, Trevor. 11, CJ Stroud. 10, Justin Herbert. 12 is Trevor Lawrence, just to clarify. So I'll review the 15 through 10 first. Brock was a tough add to this. I think he does a good enough job of managing the game that he deserves to be in the top 15. And when you're looking at outside the top 15, I don't know that I had anybody else who jumped out on the page as far as being better than him. Jordan Love, shown to be a gunslinger. He's won the playoff game. Relatively hurt last year. I don't know that he's got the arm talent to be a top 10, top 5 quarterback. Don't know if he has the mentality just yet. 13, Dak. I think Dak is probably a top 10 quarterback when he has a better offensive line and when the Cowboys actually decide to run the ball. I think Dak has been asked to do too much over the past couple of years, and I don't think he is the type of quarterback that can do so without making egregious errors. 12 is Trevor. The Jags last year, pretty terrible. We've had one of the worst rushing attacks in the NFL the past couple of years. Trevor has found a way over the past 3, and I guess last year is kind of an oddity considering he was hurt for so much of it. But Trevor has the ability to push the ball down the field. I think this year with Liam Cohen, he is going to revert back to his 2022 status, and I think there's a chance he could be a top 12 to 8 quarterback this year. 11, CJ Stroud. Despite a horrible offensive line last year, CJ still got them to 9-8, won the division, and made the playoffs. It's big time. Something that I think he didn't get enough credit for, especially with how bad that offensive line is. And I know Houston's not a big NFL media market, but a lot of people, I think, were looking at his stats, and I think the bigger piece to that is the dude can still make throws, makes them in tight windows, pushes the ball downfield, and has the ability to evade pressure. 10 is Justin Herbert. I think his arm talent jumps off the screen, and his ability to manage sacks. He's one of the best quarterbacks at avoiding sacks that are inside playoff contention every year. I don't know that he has the stats or the highlights to prove that he does it in big moments, but I would argue that over the past 3 years, he has been as good as any other non-top 5 quarterback at managing games. Okay, so 9 through 5, so 9 through 5. Starting at 9, Jared Goff. 8, Baker Mayfield. 7, Jayden Daniels. 6, Geno Smith. And 5, Matt Stafford. So Jared Goff was at one point of time to me a fringe top 12 quarterback. I think over the past couple of years, especially with Ben Johnson leading him, he has stepped into a quarterback role where he can thrive, throwing across the middle, doing all the things that he's actually good at. And I think you can win. I think the Lions can definitely win a Super Bowl with him. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback for building a team around. I think you have to build a team around him to support him versus giving, for example, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can elevate other people. I think other people need to elevate Jared Goff in a little bit. But he has done as well as he could over the past couple of years and has, I think, for the most part, eliminated the facet of his game that is we are losing games because of Jared Goff. Same with Baker Mayfield at number 8. Baker had a tremendous year last year with Liam Cohen. He, similarly to Jared, over the past 2 years has done a much better job of making sure that he is not the reason that they're losing games. And interceptions are not as low risk, meaning that he's pushing the ball down the field, putting it into tight windows, and taking positive risk. 7, Jayden Daniels. A little bit tough to put a rookie back in the top 10, but I think because of his ability to both scramble and throw the ball, he deserves it as of this point until proven otherwise. I know that sophomore slumps happen. Rookie years can jump off the page similar to CJ Stroud. I think he'll drop a little bit, rescind back to the median this year. However, I think he is spectacular and special and something that Washington will be able to build around for years to come. 6 is Geno. Watching Seattle play every week, you recognize just how bad that offensive line was last year and how many tight window throws that Geno had. I think the only drawback is he did have quite a lot of interceptions in pivotal moments, but I don't think, knowing the run game and knowing the offensive line and what they were asking him to do, what he was being asked to do was putting the ball in harm's way. And Geno did it really, really well over the course of the season. It just so happened that when you put the ball in harm's way consistently, because you're being asked to, it's going to get picked off and it's going to look bad on the quarterback, even though that was kind of his mission. 5, Matt Stafford. Didn't have a great year last year, didn't have a great year the year before. I still think with the talent that he has, the way that he manages the line of scrimmage, and the arm talent inside the red zone, I think he is still one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. If you were asking somebody to captain your ship over the next year, I don't know that someone's more playoff ready than Matt Stafford besides the top 4. And if you are looking at quarterbacks as a singularity, I think he's just as good as any of the Joe Burrows, Lamar, Josh Allen inside the playoffs. I won't compare him to Patrick Mahomes, but nonetheless, that's number 5. So finishing out with the top 4, Joe Burrow at 4, Lamar at 3, 2 is Josh Allen, and 1 is Patrick Mahomes. Joe Burrow's pocket management, fantastic. Love the way that he's fiery, and his interceptions are rarely low risk, low reward situations. They're usually high risk, high reward. And I don't know that the top 4 is very arguable in today's game, especially if you're watching football consistently. 3 is Lamar. I have him behind Josh Allen just because of really playoff jitters. I don't know that Lamar wants to try to be himself inside the playoffs, and it seems like the Ravens are overthinking Lamar's abilities in the playoffs. It seems like they evade the run consistently, but what he does in the regular season and who he is at his core when he allows himself and the team allows him to be himself is the most fascinating and cool quarterback to watch. It's just electric. 2 is Josh Allen. If Patrick Mahomes wasn't walking this earth, I think Josh Allen would be the consensus best quarterback in the league. He does everything, and his decision making has gotten better. He still makes stupid decisions when you look at what down he's pushing the ball into trouble. But Josh is by far and away I think the quarterback who carries or elevates his teammates because of his arm talent, his legs, and the threat of him as a whole better than anybody else besides Patrick. And obviously, Patrick is at number 1. 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls he's been in. 3 Super Bowls by the age of 26, right? And he hasn't had more than 5 losses in a season, I don't believe, since maybe his rookie year. Don't quote me on that, but he, despite having what I would consider a pretty mediocre offensive line last year, was able to finagle his way into the Super Bowl. And given the credit goes to the defense for being as staunch as it was, but it is, I think, easy to say that last year was Patrick's worst year as a quarterback, and he was still statistically a top 8 quarterback. So I think it's egregious to think that anybody other than Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. That concludes the NFL ranking, that concludes my ranking of the NFL quarterbacks. My next video, I am going to do the top 10 quarterbacks to build a franchise around moving forward, meaning who would I pick if I was asked to start a franchise today. So I will cover that in my next video, and I will talk to you then.